trend channel study, Facebook using a 120-minute time frame. This is a very interesting study, purposely picked to highlight the thought processes that can go into constructing trend channels, and on occasion the dilemmas that us as traders go through. Trend channels can be ambiguous. So we would draw our demand line like so. As we break these highs, we get to here, this will be drawn. If not, when we break here, we must be drawing it by here. Now, the trend line, the upper parallel part, will be drawn at a later date. I want us to focus on the demand line. So we have our trend channel demand line in, and at A, what do we note? It's weak, but we hold, we push up, we come back down. At B, it's very weak here. It's choppy. You know, we can see that holds as resistance here. Yet we gap up, we come back down at C, holds as resistance, and then we push up, and we're just trying to hold. You're trying to push up, and it kind of rounds over, and then boom, we fall. Buying should emerge at the demand line. We've got all this. Don't forget, this is a 120-minute time frame. Each one of these bars is 120 minutes. That's a long time we've been unable to rally from the demand line. It doesn't really help us. It doesn't give us a sense of clarity. We don't know where we are. Yes, there's a story of weakness, and we get further weakness, acts as resistance. We try to hold along here before eventually breaking. So there is a story, but it's far from clear cut. It's hard to trade around the edges here. So what to do? We adjust the demand line. See, this is a new demand line. As we break this high, or as we gap up, we would adjust it from the lows. We push up. Why? Because we could see it touch here, here, here. For all intents and purposes, this holds, and we have the two here. So that is 6 touches. Yet we note we do not touch the demand line here. So we have a kind of a best fit approach here. Don't forget our original one. If I draw this in, cut through here and through here. So now we're getting a nice containment of price. So from here we push up, we come back down. What do we note? Good buying from the demand line. Look at the wide spread and the firm close. Not only that, when we can't rally, we make a lower high here. Well, not quite yet, but as we break here, but we're putting a potential lower high here, as we can't break that high. And note the break, a wide spread. So, which again we know is a form of validation, as it's respecting the level. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches. Even though we miss these touches, this line has a clean fit and feel. You know, it has 7 touches and a clean break. Now there's something else to note on this chart, is this wide spread. We draw in the tau, and that is a huge spread. I mean, compare this bar to any other bar on the chart. And what do we note about this bar? No upside follow through. So that is supposed demand. So therefore, as we start coming down and we break through here, we know that this bar is climactic. So now I'm going to throw a spanner in the works. There is another demand line to draw here. So what we're doing is we're not taking the whole of the move. We're drawing it from here upwards. What do we note? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus the clean break. So that's 7, so that's 8 for all intents and purposes. But we do miss this little one here. Now there are many traders who would not use this demand line because it doesn't contain all the information. But this is where it becomes discretionary. What we want to look for are multiple touches and price containment. We don't want violations all over the place. Personally, I like touches and containment because that's more useful from my perspective because it validates the channel. Now, there is a subtlety that may make this the valid channel. Where is that? This bar. This bar here at B. Why? Well, as we noted, this is a respected working channel. We get a valid break. Then as we rally back up, it tests. So what was support is now and should be resistance, and this bar here clarifies this. So this is a 120-minute time frame. If you're drilling down to a smaller time frame, so a 5 minute, from here you want to see a rally back up, weak price action, like no demand or lack of buying pressure at this level, because we'll be drawn in, this resistance will be drawn in, and we want to take a short. Okay, we have every reason why we'd be able to take a short here, because this is the valid working channel, and we should see weak price action. Good. Let's recap. From our first chart, when we break these highs, print this bar, we have to get rid of this demand line because of these violations. It's too much. This line is of no value. It's just too sketchy, which is fine. This is our job. And when we adjust here, as we break, we've got these lovely touches. But I remember when I was looking to draw lines, this line also came into play. What to do? What do we do? Both have their own pros and cons. Now let's add the parallels. This was our first chart with the violations, now with the added parallel line. What do we note? Good touches, 1, 2, 3 touches here. Doesn't hold at B, yet at C it holds wonderfully. Supply comes in perfectly via the climactic bar. We can see, because we push up, or we gap up, come up to this level, and can we see the selling off the highs? That indicates supply. And where are we? At the supply line. So now we're thinking perhaps this use from the demand line and with inclusion of the parallel supply line, that this channel does have some merit. However, for all this price action at E and F, personally, is too sloppy. It's just too sloppy. So let's add the parallel to our second demand line. What do we know? Good touches, and now this contains price, and I like this. We can see this is the climactic bar rate gapped up, penetrated, so we become overbought, and then sellers drove it back down under our supply line. Then these two bars bump their head against resistance. They can't, sellers are capping progress here. We've got 3 closes, and it happens to be at resistance. To me, that feels valid. It feels strong, but there is also a weakness on the chart. We miss all this price action here, which is over 50% of the channel. Half a day, 50% of the channel is it's not touched. It's not adhering, but it's close. Okay. Now let's go to our last demand line. So this was the one we drew from here, obviously, and we add in the parallel. Now look how wonderful price touches here at B. So our first parallel supply line that has touches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we're merely counting touches, we have 8 this side and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 14 touches. However, which does we can see that this channel from here contains price very, very well, but this action here from the climactic action, this is the Achilles heel. This is not clean, and it kind of puts this this trend channel in jeopardy. This does not help matters, but the way it contains price to this point is very, very nice. The key to this study is to illustrate the thought processes through the adjustments, yet more importantly that trend channels are discretionary tools at our disposal. We need to use a best fit approach that suits our own individual trading, and each and every one of these channels has its own pros and cons, as we went through. I mean, this is a fascinating study, but I guess this is why many people dislike the use of channels, as they can cause problems. Please bear in mind though that 95% of channels are simple in nature. This study was picked due to the level of difficulty. I wanted us to think and go through, come into the mind of a trader and what we have to go through, because structure is very important to us. This concludes the study. Are there any questions? What channel should you use? Okay, well, I will show you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because that comes back in. So that's 15. We minus 3 because of the violations, which is 12. Now let's go back to this chart. So the other one was plus 12. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one also has a plus 12. Now, isn't that interesting? And the truthful answer is they're both good. However, I went for chart 3, this one, when we traded back, when we broke the lows of this to confirm this climactic action, broke these local lows. I went with this because how tight price was contained here. However, there is nothing wrong with using this chart. It's potato scenario. However, chart 1, no, I discontinued that from the break here. Too sloppy. Although this is lovely and it indicates, selling came in there, it's of no use. Although, to some traders, clearly some traders, it was valid. This, don't forget that this parallel line would have been drawn from here, 100% from here. So this has been watched. So if you think this is a 120-minute time frame, so we can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 24 days. So nearly a month's worth of trading. People have been waiting for this level because they will be aware. Traders would draw this in. They'd note this. But personally, too much violation for me. So either chart 2 or chart 3. Good question. Yes, apologies again. I went on another tangent of speaking about climactic bars. Don't worry, we will cover these in future sessions. I just get carried away. I love analysing charts. When I see the price action unfold in front of me, I literally get carried away. I will try and refrain from now on, but we will cover these extensively in the near future.